Story 1. The first miraculous catch of fish. Bible passage. Luke visi. Huxitoista. The story. The dawn gently touched the waters of the lake of Gennesaret. Fishermen stood along the shore, exhausted after an entire night of labor. Their boats were empty, and their hearts just as weary. Among them were Simon, Peter, James, and John, washing their nets after a fruitless night. As they worked, Jesus approached, and crowds followed him, eager to hear the word of God. Seeing the boats, Jesus stepped into Simon's and asked him, "Put out a little from the shore." Luke 5-3. Simon obeyed, and from the boat Jesus taught the people. When he finished, he turned to Simon and said, "Put out into deep water and let down the nets for a catch." Luke 5-4. Simon replied tiredly, "Master, we have toiled all night and caught nothing, but at your word I will let down the nets." Luke 5-5. The moment the nets dipped into the water, they tightened with astonishing force. Fish filled them so quickly that the ropes began to break. Simon shouted for help, and James and John rushed over. Soon both boats were so full they nearly sank. Overwhelmed, Simon fell at Jesus' knees. "Depart from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man." Luke 5-8. Jesus then told him, "Do not be afraid. From now on, you will be fishers of men." Luke 5:10. The fishermen returned to shore, left everything, and followed him. Reflection on Luke 5:11. This miracle teaches us: 1. Obedience brings abundance. Simon obeyed even when it made no sense. But at your word, God often works greatest miracles when we trust him beyond our understanding. 2. Jesus enters our emptiness. He stepped into their empty boats, just as he steps into our empty moments, failures, and disappointments. 3. Calling is born from encounter. Peter witnessed the miracle and immediately recognized his unworthiness. But Jesus didn't reject him, he called him. 4. Jesus invites us to a higher purpose. From catching fish to catching souls, our ordinary lives become extraordinary when offered to Christ. Story 2. The second miraculous catch after the resurrection. Bible passage. John Coxicuminteuxi. Uxi. Nelietoista. The story. After his resurrection, Jesus appeared again to his disciples by the Sea of Tiberias. Simon Peter, Thomas, Nathanael, James, John, and 2 others went fishing. Peter said, "I am going out to fish." John 20:1-3. They labored all night but caught nothing. At dawn, Jesus stood on the shore, though the disciples did not recognize him. He called out, "Children, have you any fish?" John 21:5. They answered, "No." Jesus said, "Cast the net on the right side of the boat, and you will find some." John 21:6. They obeyed, and instantly the net filled with so many fish that they could not even pull it in. Later, the Gospel records. So Simon Peter climbed aboard and dragged the net ashore. It was full of 153 large fish. But even with so many, the net was not torn. John 21:11. John suddenly realized, "It is the Lord." John 21:7. Peter jumped into the water and swam toward Jesus. On shore, they found a charcoal fire with fish and bread. Jesus invited them tenderly. "Come and have breakfast." John 21:12. It was a moment of reunion, love, and renewed mission. Reflection on John 21:14. 1. Jesus meets us in our discouragement. The disciples had returned to their old routine, confused and uncertain. Jesus comes to them at exactly that moment. 2. Obedience opens the way to divine revelation. Only after they obeyed his instruction did they recognize him. Sometimes we see Jesus only after we trust him. 3. Jesus provides for our needs. He not only gives them a catch, but prepares a meal for them himself. It shows his personal care for both body and soul. 4. The unbroken net symbolizes unity. The first miracle had tearing nets, human weakness. The second miracle had unbroken nets, unity through the risen Christ. A symbol of the church strengthened by Christ's resurrection. 5. Jesus restores, not rejects Peter, who had denied him, is now welcomed and embraced. Love replaces failure, restoration replaces shame.